to Lunchbox TV review of Uncharted, directed by Ruben Fleischer. I'm Alex, and today I am joined by Lou.
Hello.
And Michelle.
Hello.
There we go. Before we get started, let's talk about the video game just a little bit before getting into the movie. Have you played it before? How much of it have you played? And how do you what do you think about the fidelity? And does it bother you that Tom Holland is somewhat different than the Nathan Drake in the video games and all that? What do you think?
I played the first game when it first came out. Oh, not when it first came out. After a few years it came out and everybody's talking about it, so I played it. And I generally do like adventure type games, but I don't remember really liking it. So I think after maybe a few hours, I stopped playing and didn't play it anymore. But so it doesn't really bother me about. I think people are really concerned about the age, because the game, both Sully and Nate were older, and they're going younger with this. So for me, I didn't mind it that much.
I did not play any of the games. The games were on PlayStation. I was not PlayStation until PS4, so I kind of missed the boat on a lot of the Uncharted, and then I was not going to go back and play them. So I had a general concept of what it was, because, you can't work at EB Games and not know about different games. So I have a Wikipedia level of knowledge just so I could exist and talk about the game if I needed to. But I don't have a personal attachment to it in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. I have played all four of the mainline games, and I'll just say that the opening for Uncharted 2 is still one of the best video game openings ever. Whenever the topic comes up, that's the game I think of. That's the setting, Nathan Drake waking up it's kind of like in the movie, the way it opens. He wakes up in a situation that life or death situation. He has to get out of it. I hope we see more of that in the upcoming movies, which I'm sure there will be more of. And as for the whole Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg thing, I've seen complaints of people saying that someone like Nathan Fillion or whoever, someone that looks like Nathan Drake. But the problem is they want to sell movie tickets.
Yeah.
All right, they want to build a franchise. You put Tom Holland in your movie. He just came off billion-dollar movies in a row. Okay. Several of them in a row. Yes, this is the face you want in Uncharted, because if you like that type of adventure, the whole Indiana Jones thing, this is the best way to go about getting more of those movies. So stop being cockapants. You sound like children. Okay.
Just to add to that too, they can grow old with the franchise. There's a scene later on in the movie where I won't spoil it yet, but Sully starts looking more like his video game counterpart, right? So, they can grow old with this franchise. Sorry.
Yeah, choosing younger actors speaks to the planned longevity of this franchise. Because if you already have them at whatever age they are, they will age in real life and people won't care anymore, or it won't work that way. Because now Tom Holland he's still a young one. They make him seem older than I think he is, or we're used to seeing him in roles, but he's not old enough yet. But he will be old enough to be the actual Nathan Drake, and by then who knows how many movies they could be in, to something that could this could be a while if it continues going well, and I'm not mad at that.
Absolutely. Because you have another Indiana Jones movie coming our way, and he is 70, 80.
Oh my god, he's 80.
He's you really want to see Indiana Jones that old? All right, but that's a totally different topic. Let's get into the movie. I suppose we'll head into spoiler territory here. So, spoiler warning. The movie is about Nathan Drake and his quest to find his brother, whose name I forget because I always forget something
Sam.
whenever. Sam
Sam, yeah.
Drake. Sam. And right, so they're split up when they're in an orphanage. Sam's about to get in trouble, so he takes off. Years pass, and a Mark Wahlberg, aka Sully, he finds Nathan Drake, a young Nathan Drake, and he kind of coaxes him into looking for a treasure. And the hook is that I know what happened to your brother, and we'll find out. I'm looking for him, but really, his brother was shot, and Sully left him for dead because he was in a life and death situation. So we fast forward, and lots of intrigue, lots of puzzles, like that sort of stuff, like danger. The whole movie's full of these like action set pieces, everything you expect from like a National Treasure movie, Indiana Jones, all that stuff. And we fast forward to the end. You have another big climactic scene with these ships, old ships full of gold, and they're being transported in the helicopters. There's a chase, there's a fight, and the Filipino government, they get their hands on that gold, but damn you, Lou, better give me some of that that gold. But Nathan Drake did pocket some of that good stuff and gave it to Sully. So the movie ends actually in a mid-credit scene where a very cool-looking villain with an eye patch, who's played by the dude that played Euron Greyjoy in Game of Thrones. He kind of pretty much went to waste in Game of Thrones. He's looking pretty dastardly in this mid-credit scene, and we see Sully with the upper lip stash, the little his mustache there.
Is it still called the porn stash anymore, or because it's like kind of back in,
the lip ferret. There's a few names for it. The tickler down under, as it's sometimes called. Hello. So the movie ends with the tease that Sam is indeed still alive and in prison, but Nathan doesn't know that, and that's our tease for the sequel. And presumably we will get one because this movie's making monster money right now. And let's just get into the story. Did you guys like the story? Why/N?
Yeah, I did like the story. So, okay, basically, I kind of went about this into it. Like, everything in this movie is very generic. I mean, it was the only thing that I didn't expect was Antonio Banderas dying. I thought he was kind of a cool villain, but everything is generic. That said, I was still very into it. I really like the story, as generic as it sounds. And it kind of just goes back to me liking all these types of movies. Alex, you mentioned before, Indiana Jones, National Treasure. The when they found the ship reminded me of the Goonies. There's even that Matthew McConaughey movie, Sahara. I think they were just also looking for a treasure.
That's right.
Like, and it's been a while that they came out with a movie like this, because as much as I love Indiana Jones, we mentioned it earlier, he's old, and I don't believe his 80-year-old body can still do jumps, swing with his bullwhip. But yeah, story is generic. I still really enjoyed the movie.
I mean, I agree. I didn't have expectations for the story because I know enough. He's gonna look for stuff. That's it. He's gonna find some things. That's the movie. And it delivered. He found some things. And it felt like the movie was built around these really extravagant, like, action pieces, which kind of like the way in my mind John Wick is built around these fight scenes. And it's not a complaint. John Wick is a favorite of mine. I absolutely adore the movie because it is like, it owns what it is. It's like, we want some badass fight scenes and we're going to just put enough story to make that kind of make sense. And that's what this movie was, for like crazy action sequences. And I loved all of it. I loved it. The story is just enough. There's just enough character, like story building dabbled in. I was like, I understand who you are and what your relation is to everybody else. And I would say some of the characters were pretty like one-dimensional, which was a little annoying, but it made them very easy to understand when they kept kind of like adding random people. I'm like, who's this? Why are you here? What's your relation to this person? But story-wise, cool. Action. That was the story. The story was, let's have more action.
And sorry, and the general puzzle solving of everything was like, it was really fun for me too.
Right. Yeah, it's like both of you said, like the generic plot, but it's held together by fun performances, as well. Basically, like mostly by the two main leads, Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland. They have a really good comedic chemistry together. Yeah. It's held together by their performances and by these action set pieces. That's like, you feel like you're watching like a James Bond movie or something like that. Now that all said, the issues I had, it's like, I don't know if I mentioned a lot, but like, especially in this one, the suspension of disbelief in this movie. It's like there's a lot going on that it doesn't upset me, but it's like, oh, there's no way that would happen.
Oh, I know. Yeah. There's tons of them.
I know. And like, I think we all agree, like the nucleus is definitely the airplane scene where he's hopping, you know, defying gravity, defying physics, but like it branches out, you know, well past that. Like I mentioned to Michelle the other day, how does Nathan's cell phone still work after almost drowning? Right. There's that. Also the helicopter stuff. How quickly they were able to like just like wrap it in a net, and the thing isn't like imploding into like a mush of like rotten like wood.
There's no way it wouldn't just like.
No way.
Exactly.
They wouldn't have gotten it up. It would have been just
and with the weight
crumbled.
Of the gold too, like kind of being central, it would have just like, I don't know, wet bread.
But this is like literally the movie, like just shut up and enjoy. Don't question stuff, and you have a good time. And like I'm sitting in an IMAX theater, and like that's exactly what I was doing. Like whoa, right? Like I caught myself with my mouth agape, like it was open. I think it was just once, and I'm like, oh, maybe someone's looking at me. I guess I've become too used to watching movies at home. So let's talk about the characters. So we have the lead, Nathan Drake, played by Tom Holland. We have Sully, played by Mark Wahlberg. Antonio Banderas plays the villain for the first half of the movie, Santiago Moncada. And he's replaced by by his henchwoman, Tati Gabrielle, aka the character's name is Braddock. And there's also Chloe Fraser, who's sort of like the in between, not good guy, not bad guy.
Love interest, but not really.
Yeah, exactly. Like really shady stuff. Played by Sophia Ali, and a whole cast of other characters, like, you know, henchmen getting beaten up. But what did everyone think of the characters in the movie?
Absolutely fine. I think other than Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg's kind of chemistry or comedic kind of chemistry together, there was sort of like a lack of chemistry with everybody else. Like they were trying to make me feel something about Tom's relationship with the not so good, not so bad person, but I couldn't believe it. It was like nope. Antonio Banderas, like I said earlier, was a pretty good villain. So that was the twist that I didn't see coming, but I kind of hope it didn't because I thought he would have been a better villain near the end, but that's just me. Fast forwarding later on, Euron Greyjoy looked like Euron Greyjoy with a dirty suit.
Yeah.
So I hope to see him soon. He could be used in this franchise well, maybe. I don't know. But again, like everything in this movie, even though I really enjoy this movie, it's generic characters that you just kind of look at and go through the motions, and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Alex said it, like, or everyone said, you both said it. The movie wouldn't work if not for Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. And put anyone else in those roles, I don't think I would have enjoyed the movie as much, even if all the action was still as great as it was. The two of them were spectacular together. I didn't know what I was expecting from the two of them as a duo, and every beat worked. Every moment was great. Any scenes they had together were the highlights. Like the first little heist that they do together where they're talking in the earpieces, like that. Any sequence like that, so good, so funny. And then you add the Chloe character and you just like dilute the magic. And that bothered me. So even though the middle piece of actually trying to find the gold when they actually find the salt, like that whole sequence was awesome, very cool looking. I love the puzzle. It didn't work because you have Tom Holland with this other girl, and I really like, she was my least favorite part of the entire movie. Just her character didn't work, especially because this is gonna be my complaint because I don't know what they're trying to do with Tom Holland. So hear me out. They are in the first scene, we see him when he's in the bar and he's hitting on the girl to steal her bracelet. He's suave. He's like got it going on. He's very confident. He knows how to talk to a lady. Like he's got that not Peter Parker vibe to him. You know what I mean? He's grown up. He's different. And then they regress him
to be more like Peter Parker.
Yeah. And then he meets Chloe and he's kind of more useless and more like bumbling when he's not. That's not the character. And he's still so brilliant. He's so smart. He's figuring out these puzzles, but he's like, I don't know. I just hate that character regression where I really, it felt like they were setting him up to be not a child. Like they I'm not going to get over the scene of him working out. Okay. I'm just going to come out and say it, but they put in this very intentional scene of him being shirtless and like sexy looking and like looking muscly and like looking grown up, compared to like how we would see him as Peter Parker. Like he's legally aged, it's fine, whatever. But like they actually make him seem like he's supposed to be attractive in that way and suave with the ladies. And then they regress it. So it's like, wait, he's a child again. And I don't know how I feel because you just told me that he's good with ladies and he's sexy, and now like he's awkward and I don't know what to do with that. So as far as his character, like he was amazing, but that part of the character really bothered me when Chloe showed up. So just get rid of Chloe and have him just be awesome, and like I'm happy. when he gets rid of her, it's all uphill for me. Once he like tricks her and she leaves, great, get her out of here. We don't need her.
I feel like the other solution instead of getting rid of her is just like you have them sleep together when they should.
Get it over with.
Because like they literally share a bed, right? And it's like, well, you know, you could sort of resolve that, but still leave it hanging afterwards when Chloe takes off, right? Just you know, it's kind of like the sexual tension there is resolved, but then there's you know that clash, that dynamic that, you know, if you want to pursue that in the sequels, you can. But now it's just this really weird thing where with like some chick who was slighted and like Tom Holland who acts really weird for some reason around her when you know when you know fully well he can date Zendaya if he wanted to.
Yeah, he's killing it. We know he's got game clearly. Like he can do it. So I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you.
But I think that even with that, like they didn't do a good job of like setting up a lot of sexual tension between those two, where even like throughout the whole, since they've met, even like at the hotel room, there was like nothing in the back of my mind where they're like, oh, they're gonna do it. So there was just nothing. It was just like, they're probably just gonna sleep and go throughout their day.
it felt really one-sided and
Yeah.
all on account of what Sully was saying, like don't warning him. So yeah, so I'm gonna amend what I said about have them sleeping together and just say that have no sexual tension, no feelings, just have them as like partners, and yeah, that'd be fine. Or I don't know, get rid of her. I don't know. That clearly didn't work. It just didn't work, and like I don't want to see her in the sequel, even though for sure she's going to be in the sequel. So
Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about our favorite scenes. Did you have a favorite scene in the movie? What was it?
My favorite scene was actually a very simple scene. It was when he dove and found the ships. Just because it reminded me so much of the Goonies finding the ship. And as simple as that scene was, it was kind of what made me go, oh, yeah, we're back at this. So for me, that was my favorite scene.
Ooh, that's actually a harder question than I thought it would be because I liked a lot of different scenes, but I think like long scene, overall scene, I had no problem with the suspension of disbelief. Get those ships on that helicopter. That's crazy. Like, I love it. I loved it. With them swinging around in the air and like when they're like fighting and he's swinging and he's got a sword, I'm like, this is ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I'm so into it. Like I was edge of my seat into it. I was so excited. But the tiniest little moment that I really liked, even though I didn't play the games, but I understand enough, was him getting the little gun holsters. So he had his costume on properly. It just felt like I love those little moments for the actual like video game people or the people who know that are like, look, it's that thing. And it had that effect on me because I'm used to like I've seen the cover of the game a million and one times. I was like, oh look, he's got his little holsters on, and I love it. So that was my favorite little nugget scene.
Just to add to that too, it also kind of just helps with the, because you know how some people are like, oh, they didn't look accurate to the games or anything, but at that moment where you actually had that on, you're like, oh yeah, there it is. So you're like, oh, this is good.
And it made sense. Like it made sense because I feel like for this character and where he's at in his journey, it wouldn't have made sense for him to have that immediately. So it actually like, if this is functioning, this is under the assumption, this is my assumption, that this is functioning as a prequel and that the mid-credit scene or whatever is leading into the first game story. That's the thing. But this is establishing why he's going to look the way he does and why he carries the items that he does. So it's like he earned that by stealing it and putting it on, and now it's part of, he realized, oh, this is useful. I like this thing. I'm going to do this now. So I don't know. I liked it.
I should add that in case anyone was confused, there's a cameo by Nolan North on the beach.
Yeah, on the beach.
Yes, that was Nolan North who voiced Nathan Drake in the games. It was like really weird, but and it's like, oh, I had my own similar experience. It's like, yeah, really, who the hell are you? And yeah, so he's the voice of Nathan Drake.
Okay, that totally makes sense now because when that scene happened, there wasn't a lot of people in the theater, but there was reactions to it. I'm like, huh? What is going on here?
It was really funny in my theater. You could tell like more than half my theater was not familiar with the games at all, because you'd hear a spattering of people saying, like, "Oh, look!" I know what he looked like. I've seen interviews, and I was like, "Oh, look!" And Max is sitting beside me. He's like,
"Who's
that?" I'm like, "You play the games. Come on, get it together." But it was really funny because every once in a while you're like, "Oh, that's Nolan North," and everybody's like looking around like, "Who's Nolan North? What does that mean?" So.
Right. So I'd say like my favorite scene. Like I could care less about the suspension of disbelief again. Like even though I brought it up as a complaint, it is true. But the airplane scene, like I love that as an opening. Like he wakes up. It's like, what the hell? I love that. I love that as like your entry point into the movie. And then when it actually happens like in the middle of the film, it's so cool. It's so cool. You know he's not gonna die, but you want to see how he gets out of it, and that's even the fun with like James Bond movies and even the old Indiana Jones ones. It's like they're not gonna die, So yeah, just enjoy. Now, how about the visuals? Yeah, how do we like the visuals, y'all?
I thought it was fine. I mean, I had no complaints. CGI looked really good. Like, I mean, technology has caught up where like everything is looking good these days. So there may have been a couple scenes where it looked very CGI, but I didn't mind it. It didn't kind of mess my whole experience from watching the whole movie.
Yeah, I can't think of anything visually that didn't work for me. And I don't know if this doesn't really fall under that umbrella, but like my complaint is spoiling of visuals. Um, I really wish that the airplane scene was not so in the trailer. Just so in the trailer. And I feel like it would have been really awesome to go into the movie and have that happen and be like, what the hell? Why are we starting the movie in the middle? But because I'd already seen part of that scene, because I'd seen the trailer, honestly, like a lot, it didn't. I hate that. Just don't spoil big scenes. Just stop it. Just that's stupid and unnecessary. Like give me like a point 0.2 seconds of him and be like, oh, is that an airplane? But don't show me him falling out of it. Because like you see him get hit by the car in the trailer. And that
Yeah.
I didn't like. Doesn't count as visuals, but there you go. That's my opinion.
I mean, in defense of that, at least they showed it at the beginning of the movie. You know, it's like right off the bat. You all know, you've all seen this. Here you go. Like it was really like a marketing thing. It was like, oh, look at this crazy thing. Don't you want to watch the movie to see how he gets out of this? And it's like, you know, a big part of it. I'm a fan of the Uncharted games, of course. But like a big part of it is like, wow, I do want to see what kind of BS they come up with for him to not die. But yeah, no, the visuals were okay. The like cinematography is direct. Ruben Fleischer, he directed Venom. I forgot what else. There's a few other things he's known for.
He's good with action. There you go. He's yeah.
Exactly. So he did the job. Everything looked good. Yeah, let's give it a score out of 10. Go ahead.
So I can go first. It was a good movie. Again, I just keep going back and forth with this generic thing, but it was really fun, and I can't wait for the sequels because I need me more of these movies. I'm gonna give it a 8 out of 10.
Okay, so I feel like everything I've said in this review has been like, okay. So my score might be a little bit like aggressive, but I can't stress how happy this movie made me. I left the theater hyped. Like hyped. I was smiling the entire movie. I had a great time watching this movie. And it's generic as hell. And the action is bomb. And that just works for me. And that I cared more about that. So literally, I give this movie a 10 out of 10. Like, I adore it. I've been recommending it left, right, and center. It's a good time. Like, it's a good movie. I think my family would like it. I think everyone would like it. Like, there's nothing offensive or like that people wouldn't like. Like, unless you hate action and a good time, like, you're gonna have a good time in this movie.
This is a rare 10 from Michelle.
Yeah,
for something so random.
Never.
I know. I freaking adored it.
Dune. We reviewed Dune. We reviewed.
Oh wait, I think you gave Spider-Man a 10. No, we all gave Spider-Man a 10. Yeah.
Yeah, I've given things a 10. It happens. It's just like and when I do, my reasoning is always chaotic as hell. But here we are. This is a 10 out of 10 action adventure movie for me. That's what this is.
Hey, you know what? It's all subjective. It's about the experience of the whole movie, the what it gives you. Even though I'm critics pretty much bombed it, but like I think the audience score was like 92 or 93. So there's a Discord there.
Critic score was like in the 40s on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
So,
well, they want every movie to be this like life-changing, like soulful thing that hurts you and makes you feel things later. Sometimes I just want to smile in a movie, and if it makes me smile, I'm gonna like it, and that's where I'm at. So I'm smiling thinking about this freaking movie.
It is like a perfect popcorn movie. Like
That's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a popcorn flick. Yeah,
A summer blockbuster during winter.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And at least it doesn't like draw on nostalgia. Well, sort of. It sort of does because the Uncharted games are they're kind of old now. Maybe it's just me that's old, but no, it was a good movie. I did enjoy it. I'd give it a strong recommendation and a 7.5 out of 10. I was happy with it.
Also, shout out to the fact that it's not aggressively long.
Yeah.
It's as
just,
far as these
just
types
under
of
2
movies
hours,
go,
no? Or
yeah, I think it is, which is impressive because a lot happened and it didn't feel long. Because I feel like so many movies like this they drag. They're like, and the next thing, and the next thing. It's like 2.5 hours later. I'm like, oh my god, my butt hurts from sitting for so long. So this movie did a lot in under 2 hours, which is notable to me.
It was worth having people cough all over you.
At least you're okay.
Yeah, well, I mean,
as far as we know,
there's still a few days left. All right, patient 0 for a new one. Yeah. All right.
The new Megatron.
I'm not even gonna joke.
Do you say the Megatron variant? Is that a thing?
No.
Oh my god! What the heck? I clearly have not been paying attention to the news.
All right. That was our review. Let us know what you think in the comments. What did you think about Tom Holland as Nathan Drake? Did you poo-poo and wee-wee in your pants? Did you not like it? Comment. And then, give us a like. Give us a dislike if you didn't like it, Whatever.
Can't dislike now.
Yeah,
the dislikes are gone, right? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's gone.
Right. Yeah.
Tell us you dislike us in the comments.
Yeah, dislike it in the wind. But please subscribe and follow us on our socials.
And if you can't watch the video, there's always the podcast version of this, so you can check that out. So you don't have to see our faces.
That's
I like
right.
how at the end of the video we're like, but you could have listened to this. But now that you're done watching us, go listen to it.
Got him.
But yes, thank you. I'm Alex, and I've been joined by Lou and Michelle, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Peace.